All right, welcome in, everyone. This is Off the Edge. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Cameron Lynch. And man, I'm so glad to be talking about football right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
Really,
There's a lot.
there's a lot. I'll just say thoughts and prayers. I'll leave it at that.
To where the shoe fits. Thoughts and prayers to people who need it. Thankfully, we got football to unite us, to bring our country together. So great week one of football, huh, Jake?
Yeah, when you look at week one, I mean, it was pretty crazy. You know, Nick Bonito is a guy that, I had touched on last episode, a guy that I highlighted, a guy that I was very high on.
Yeah, good call.
And he is special, man. He got paid. He is special. And it's really that simple. Emeka Ibuka, we talked about, he's my offensive rookie of the year.
I mean,
like even before last week, that was my pick.
Yeah.
Dude's
Jake, are
legit.
Ohio State receivers like some of the best receivers that we've seen? Garrett Wilson, Emeka, I think we're just seeing a trend of these guys stepping up into this pro level outfit. JSN from the Seahawks, I mean, they're just showing up in big places. Maybe their first years, they weren't as much, right? JSN, he kind of did his thing, but Emeka, right on the scene immediately, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans was like, dude, I haven't had a 2-touchdown game in a long time, and I've been playing for 10 plus years. So yeah, man, it was exciting to see Emeka do his thing.
Oh, definitely. And they need it because Chris Godwin's out. So that was a huge one. The Falcons gave him a run for their money, and then Matt Prater kicking the game-winning field goal in what was the most wild game. 40-25 becomes 41-25, just like that. Just pretty crazy when you think about it.
You think it's game of the year, Jake, or no? It's too early to call. I know it's week one.
It's too early. I will say there were people saying that this is better than the Chiefs and Rams game, and I would just say, 1, recency bias, and 2, no, because the Chiefs and Rams game, that was history. There's never been a team to score 50 points and lose. That was also very back and forth, Cam, where if, the offense was making plays, the defense was also making plays, and when you give up over 100 total points defensively, you'd be like, that's interesting. How did the defense play well? They did. They really did. They had huge plays in that game. There were forced fumbles. There were touchdowns. So that was kind of my thought on that. But let's get into the primetime games because we're not going to wait. We're going to hit on all the primetime games. Then we're going to cover, the rest of the games. So tomorrow is very interesting. You have a potential, and we'll see, right? We don't know, but you might have a potential NFC showdown in the conference championship. We'll see how things go between the Commanders and the Packers, okay? Ooh. This game, very interesting. It's at Lambeau. Who are you going with, Cam?
Jake, I got the Packers. Go Pack Go at this moment. Michael Parsons was looking like a lion in the jungle somewhere, chasing down Jared Goff versus the Lions. So I could see the same thing happening against Jaden Daniels. I do realize that the Washington football team hasn't beat the Packers in Lambeau Field since 1988. So Jaden Daniels was the rookie of the year last year, very impressive in the playoffs. So he has a chance to make that happen. But I think some of the keys to victory for the Commanders' offensive line, they gave up 3 sacks last week. So, and that was against, the Giants. So, hey, we got to tighten that up a little bit here. You got the Packers coming into town, but they gave up 3 sacks. So I think that's going to be a piece for the Packers and Michael Parsons to figure out. And then also with the Commanders, they got on the offensive side, I think to actually win this game, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I mean, Buddy went off, Jake, a rookie. He was 4th in the league with rushing at 82 yards. I picked him up on my fantasy football team, doing it for the first time this year. And I'm like, hey, sign me up for Ja'Cory. My man is running the football. Austin Eckler went out that game, and so he found a way to move the football. But, I mean, the Packers are ranked 3rd last year in rush yards allowed, and so having a guy like Ja'Cory get going for the Washington football team would be impressive. But I'm curious to hear what you think about Jordan Love, Jake. Just how much of a professional he looks like. He looks like a top 10 quarterback to me, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked what I saw from Jordan Love. You mentioned Wild Bill. We'll get to him, Krosky, but yeah, no, I like what I saw. I mean, I still have some concerns about the Packers offensive line. Aaron Banks, I don't think played his best game, and I didn't even like that pickup to begin with. I'm excited to see Matthew Golden. Maybe he gets more in this game. It didn't really get going in his rookie debut. Some other rookies did. He didn't really get that opportunity. I'm curious on a short week if they're going to get him going a little bit. You got Romeo Doubs. We just saw, of course, Christian Watson just got paid. Well, he got paid in a sense. He got $13 million for a year, but
that's nice. That's nice.
That's nice, but that does scream. Yeah, this guy gets hurt a lot, so we're not giving him a long-term deal. But he got paid. On the flip side of this, you got Marshawn Lattimore on one side. You got Mikey Sainristil, who I really like. The defensive line for Washington's really good. What I saw on Sunday is Washington played a bad Giants team, but the defense just absolutely handled business. And the Packers played a team that I think we expected this was going to be like a game of the week, and they just absolutely ran roughshod of the Lions. I'm going to take the Packers in this one, 23-20. I think Bill Krosky is going to be able to run the football in this game. And I do think we're going to see a good battle, but that's why I have 23-20. I think at the end of the day, if this was in Washington, right, DC, I would take the Commanders. I think it's going to be that close of a game. I'm going to give the edge to the Packers because they're at home, but this is a pick 'em for me. I think you can go either way. I don't think you can go wrong with either, but I got the Packers in this one. And I am expecting, you mentioned Jordan Love, I'm expecting him to be able to throw on this secondary a little bit. We'll see what ends up happening. The guy to look out for to me is Matthew Golden, because I really want to see this rookie get an opportunity. We'll see if he does. But we move on to the next primetime game, Sunday Night Football, between the Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is an interesting game because the Falcons are coming off a game in which they were winning and then they lost at the end to the Buccaneers, and the Vikings were down 17-6 and came roaring back at the end. And JJ McCarthy, right? Yeah, offensive player of the week. How about that? I got to give him a lot of props. I mean, you kind of throw the stats in the garbage in a game like that. He didn't play well to start, but it's how he finished, and you saw him really become a leader at age 22. Feels like he has that locker room ready to go into war with him. And you got to give Kevin O'Connell a lot of credit. Where do you stand on this one, Cam? Who are you picking to win?
Jake, I'm not going to lie. The Atlanta Falcons had the Buccaneers on the ropes. If it wasn't for Emeka, I'm not sure what would have happened. I know Young Hoku, he missed a few kicks that game, and I know they brought someone else in to see if he can make the team. But for this game with the Falcons and the Vikings, I'm going to go the Vikings. I think Brian Flores' defense is humming. They're blitzing all the time. I think that's going to cause some pressure for Michael Penix. I think for JJ McCarthy, like you mentioned, he had a slow start, Jake, but let's also remember he got hurt last year. He had a few preseason game warmups, but he figured it out. And I think it was like maybe in like the second or third half, he almost had a heat check. At one point, I was like, Jake, I said, wow. McCarthy calls a game by running the ball in the fourth quarter to win in 3 minutes left. And anytime I say wow for a quarterback, that means he's balling. And I think I did the same thing for Justin Herbert. I had a wow moment for him. Another wow moment for another quarterback that played this week, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Even though he got sacked about 4 to 5 times, Aaron Rodgers was balling out. But J.J. McCarthy showed up really nicely this game. And I think he'll have a chance to make it happen. Of course, he has a guy like Justin Jefferson who took over the fourth quarter with explosive plays, followed up with a touchdown. That was really cool to see. Aaron Jones as well. I think about Alvin Kamara as one of the best pass-catching running backs, him and Christian McCaffrey. But Aaron Jones, just the way he showed up in that game, I thought was really impressive against the Bears. And then also just that defensive line. They had Caleb Williams running for his life. And he did really good at that. He had a good job of scrambling and making plays. He had 58 yards scrambling, but I don't think that could be conducive in the long run. So Michael Penix, if he's running for his life, if Brian Flores sends the house at him, I think the Minnesota Vikings come up with this one. And I'm going to say the score would be 23-20 because their field goal kicking hasn't been great. the Falcons hasn't.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Field goal kicking, you don't think about it all the time, but it really does stand out when you don't have it. I'm going to take the Vikings in this one as well, because I think Brian Flores, they could be down early on in this game, but I think he's going to make those adjustments in the second half. I'm not sold on Michael Penix. I like some of the things I've seen. I also don't know if he can stay healthy for a full season. He hasn't really proven that very often in his career going back to college. So that said, I'm going to take the Vikings here. Jonathan Grenard was an absolute monster, but so was Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. They together, 3 guys, had 20 pressures. They pressured Caleb Williams 30 times in that game. That is not going to be good for a young quarterback like Penix, he's not a rookie because he came in like, tail end of last year, but he's kind of a rookie, So I just don't like that fit at all. And really, when you look at this Falcons offensive line, I'm not high on them. They lost, McGarry for the year. Elijah Wilkinson filled in for him. And unfortunately for the Falcons fans, he's filling in for them for the, foreseeable future. But yes, 5 pressures given up. Jake Matthews gave up 4. Lindstrom gave up 3. I don't like Newsel at center. I don't like this offensive line as much as I was hoping I would like this. So I'm just going to say that. I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. I think McCarthy, manages a good game here, and Brian Flores gives them hell. 17-13. That's what we're going to go with.
And then our guy Bijan, I know Bijan, he had a decent game, right? I think he had like 24 yards rushing, but he had some breakaways for a touchdown. But yeah, the run game hasn't really been going. Drake London, he was kind of present that game, but not. So yeah, I agree with you, Jake. I think the Vikings take this one, and yeah, I think they're going to make a run in the NFC. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, no, of course. And next up, we got another primetime game because we're getting these out of the way early. Buccaneers Texans. Now, this could actually be one of the best games of the week. The Buccaneers are interesting because they looked a little sloppy, but who cares? When you get away with a win, you move on to the next week and you can get past that. The Texans, their defense looks as advertised, looks very good.
Yeah.
The offense, despite going up against a really dominant Rams defense, didn't look horrendous. Like, I thought CJ Stroud was able to move the football. They completely took away Nico Collins. So I thought he made some really good plays considering that offensive line's banged up. With that said, that offensive line is banged up. And we just saw what Hassan Reddick did, right? Big time performance from him. You'll appreciate this. Servassier Dennis, who plays linebacker as a former linebacker yourself for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dennis looked really good, which they needed, just the doctor ordered. I'm going to take the Texans in this one. I don't love their offensive line, but I think at home, I'm going to say that the Texans do win this game 20-17. I think this is going to come down to the wire. And that kicker ain't missing. There you go. I think CJ Stroud will lead a game-winning drive, and I'm totally blanking on the guy's name, but the kicker that they have, he is legit. He is not missing.
I like that. So I'm going to flip it, Jake, just because I played for the Buccaneers. I'm going to have to flip that score. I know you said 20-17, so I'm going to go Buccaneers 21. Texans 17. Reason why I say that, like you mentioned, the Texans defense is strong. CJ Stroud is strong. The only thing about the Texans defense, the reason why they lost the game to the Rams was because of those holding penalties, those defensive backs, and also some of the targeting penalties. Those defensive backs, Jake, I mean, you saw Devontae Adams. I mean, his like neck and back just kind of like froze in the air, like on the ground one play. Puka Nacua was like bleeding from his helmet just because the safeties and the DBs, I think it was like number 2 and number 5. Those guys were humming. And so I think when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to figure out a plan for Emeka, trying to figure out a plan for Mike Evans is going to be tough. Bucky Irvin as well. I do think they'll get after the quarterback because that defensive line, Daniil Hunter, and some of those guys, Will Anderson, those guys do get after the quarterback. But I do know that Baker Mayfield, he can run, he can make moves on his feet. I think that's really important. And so I do like the Buccaneers in this one. And let's not forget that the Texans do have Nick Chubb and Nico Collins. Like you mentioned, Nico Collins wasn't really a factor versus the Rams, so he might show up a little bit more this game. Nick Chubb as well. But I like the Buccaneers to hold it down. I like Vita Vea to set up a tent in that backfield, Jake, with C.J. Stroud, stop anything that goes in the A and B gaps, and then Hassan Reddick to finish the job, and Levante David to make it happen. So I got the Buccaneers on this one, Jake, 21-17.
I like it. Our first disagreement, and we're only 3 picks in. It's a little bit different from last week. We only had 2. So the last primetime game here, we got the Chargers and Raiders. Chargers surprised us, man. I think we both picked the Chiefs, but the Chargers were better than advertised. I thought that losing Rashawn Slater was going to play a huge role in why they wouldn't be as good as maybe they should be. However, I was really pleasantly surprised with what I saw from the Chargers. So I'm going to say this. Joe Alt looks legit at left tackle, right? Trey Pipkins is fine at right tackle. I really liked what I saw from Justin Herbert. I liked what I saw from the play calling. We didn't get to see a ton, but I think Omari and Hampton is going to work in this league.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say the Chargers win this game 24-20. I don't want to take away any credit from the Raiders. That was a huge win against a team that I'm way higher on than the consensus and the Patriots. Mm-hmm. The Raiders have Geno Smith. I think he's going to keep him in the game. Yeah. The Raiders have one of the more hotter receivers in the league going back to last year in Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
We don't know if is he auditioning for another team. I know he, trade requested and they said, nah, we're good. We're going to keep you. And I know, of course, Ashton Genty is looking to get things going in this one. Found the end zone last week. Wasn't really great, but that Patriots defense is tough to run against. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be easy to run against the Chargers, but I think he'll have a little bit more success. That said, though, I think I'm going to go with the Chargers 24-20 to beat the Raiders here on that ridiculously stupid doubleheader Monday Night Football. Why are they playing at 10? Anyway, we move.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah. I mean, I similar to you, Jake, I got Chargers 23, Raiders 20. The reason why it's so close is because you mentioned the Raiders, they have Geno Smith, who's going to keep them in the football game. Ashton Genty in the backfield. He's explosive, Jake. I think he's just waiting for his moment. It's his first game, first real game. And so I know guys are really looking out for him. And so I think he'll have a chance to break away and make something happen. My question is Brock Bowers going to be healthy? I have him on my fantasy team, so I benched him for Dalton Kincaid, who went off, right, versus the Ravens. But Brock Bowers, will he be healthy? I'm not sure. But if he is healthy, Jake, that might change my score. Reason being is Brock Bowers the next Travis Kelce or the next Gronkowski. I mean, just the way he runs, the way he gets open, I'm sure he can block really well, but it's just he's giving the main character. He's giving main character energy. I got Brock on my fantasy team, like I said, Jake, and he gave me a whole lot of points. And so, but I still have them losing because he might be out. So we'll see what that looks like. But going to the Chargers side, the fact that they went to Brazil and put Brazil and they put hands on the Chiefs, Jake. I mean, just think about that defense. That defense forced the Chiefs to punt a whole lot. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes, Jake, Magic Mahomes, who's making plays, flipping the football from the ground. I mean, it was amazing. And similar to some other quarterbacks, I have not only for Mahomes, wow, but I got amazing on some of my notes. I see why we watch football is to cut that guy on. It feels like I'm watching Steph Curry a little bit, but just to see him make some of these plays are super impressive. But the Chargers, they found a way to quelch that fire, my guy. And so you mentioned Omarion Hampton. He had 15 carries, only 48 yards, not too many. But Jake, just those 48 yards, it's not how much, it's how he did it. I mean, he's running through tackles. He's breaking arm tackles. He's looking aggressive. Even the preseason, Jake, I mentioned, I mean, he was running through people, and they were like, "Yo, we got to get you out of the game because just the way you're attacking it is insane." And Jake, we talked about on the pre-show, and I was like, Quentin Johnston, I don't know, is he going to be healthy? He got a concussion the first preseason against the Rams. Jake, Quentin Johnston went off 2 TDs, 5 receptions, 79 yards, and to be honest, he had player of the game for me. I know he pretty much sealed the game. Of course, Justin Herbert, a good player of the game, but Quentin Johnston figuring it out. And then also, too, what I will say, Justin Herbert, if you're a receiver in his offense, you got to be happy because he pretty much – everyone had about 50 yards or plus. Tyler Conklin had 50 yards. Keenan Allen, 68 yards. Ladd McConkey, 74 yards. And so Quentin Johnston, 79. So at the end of the day, he's spreading the ball out evenly. And shout out to that Chargers team of just getting those guys ready to play some football. To be honest, Jake, they might go undefeated this year, just the way that they beat the Chiefs and the way that they're playing. But I like the Chargers in this one as well, 23-20.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go undefeated, Cam. That's a tall task.
Is that a reach?
We still have yet to see a team with the 17-0 in a regular season. So
fair.
Maybe it's the Chargers, according to Cam Stradamus over there.
Yeah.
All right, we move on now. Primetime games away. Jaguars, Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals here, 22-14. I was impressed by a lot of what I saw. Foye Oluokun is one of the craziest linebackers in this sport. Dude is a tackling machine. I really like what I saw from the Jaguars defense. However, didn't see a lot from Trevor Lawrence. I just didn't. I saw a lot from Travis Etienne, who everyone told us, yeah, Travis Etienne's probably done after this year with the Jaguars. And they were talking about last year. Like, he'll get traded. Well, in steps Howie Roseman, and now all of a sudden you have Tank Bigsby on the Eagles, and Travis Etienne is indeed not getting traded after a 140-plus yard performance. Props to him. So in this one against the Bengals, I'm just going to say this. It's going to come down to the wire, right? But I think the thing that seals the deal, and I have them winning 22-14, but the thing that seals the deal for the Cincinnati Bengals is this. You have Trey Hendrickson playing on a level that we haven't seen. And that's saying a lot because he led the league in sacks. So you had 9 pressures from him last week.
Ooh.
Now think about this. You had 9 pressures from him last week. The Jaguars' offensive line improved, but it's not great. I'm not sitting there like, yeah, the Jags, they're not going to allow any. No, I'm not feeling that way at all. And look, the Jaguars are going to have their opportunities. They have Josh Hines-Allen on the other side, and Dylan Fairchild and Orlando Brown Jr. struggled last week. Orlando gave up 2 sacks on Joe Burrow. But I think the Bengals, when it's all said and done, they're going to get through. I think Trey Hendrickson, their closer, is going to end this game.
Nice. I like that, Jake. I agree with you. I got the Bengals 24-20. Duval is a better team, Jake. They're 1-0. Usually, they're kind of like the Browns. It's like start 0-1, have some trouble. But I think they've made a step forward. It was cool to see Travis Etienne play both sides of the football. Wasn't much, but he's doing what people said he couldn't do. So sorry, not Travis Etienne. Sorry. Travis Hunter. Got different Travises. Travis Hunter played both sides of the ball, made it happen. Travis Etienne, though, was the biggest spark for that offense. Really impressive to see. Trevor Lawrence, like you mentioned, Jake, a little here and there. He was 19 for 31 for 178 yards. He threw an interception to J.C. Horn, which was actually fantastic. A one-handed pick by J.C. Horn. Yeah, that was crazy to see. Chuba Hubbard found his way through that defense a little bit of the Jags. So I'm a little iffy on them, but I will have to call out LaQuint Allen, Syracuse guy, running back who's backing up Travis Etienne. I like to see him in the pass game. He did a good job, but I do like the Bengals, like you mentioned Trey Hendrickson doing his thing, and then just that offense. I mean, Jamar Chase was a little bit quiet last week, right, Jake? And so I think at this point, he had 2 catches for 26 yards. And then T. Higgins had 3 catches for 33 yards. And I have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on my fantasy squad. So I'm going to need them to level this up a little bit. And so I think they're due to go off pretty soon here. And I know they're having a conversation with Joe Burrow this week. Like, yo, bro, you see only had 33 yards catching. Like, come on, we need to turn this up. So I can see an uptick from their gameplay, and I see the Bengals winning this one 24-20.
I like it. I'll throw one guy's name out there that could end up having a sneaky good game, and maybe if it's good enough, they actually end up winning the Jaguars. Brenton Strange, the tight end. Look out for him. We just saw what my guy Harold Fannin Jr. can do to you and what you can do to the Bengals defense. Are the Bengals susceptible to giving up a lot of yards to tight ends? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll see how the season goes on, but if we're basing it off last week, man, Brenton Strange has an opportunity for sure, and he's coming off a good game himself. 4 catches, 59 yards. We'll see if he continues. Moving on, and I guess somewhat staying in the division as the Jaguars, the Titans are hosting the Rams. Last time the Rams were in Nashville, they beat the Titans, very close game, and they clinched the NFC West for the first time since 2003. So the last time the Titans saw the Rams, however, at SoFi Stadium, they dominated them. Jeffrey Simmons was an absolute just freak show. Yeah. I expect him to be very similar to that. I'm going to go with the Rams 23-13 here. I understand some people will probably say, look, the Rams are going to blow them out. That's not the Titans team that I saw week one. No. I saw a Denard Wilson coach defense in year 2, kind of mirror Chris Shula, who's also in year 2. You start to see those wrinkles come through. Bo Nix looked very lost against this defense. And by the way, Cam, they forced 6 turnovers if you're counting turnover on downs, which you should be. So 6 turnovers, and they found a way to lose 20-12. To be fair, they got rookie quarterback Cam Ward. Really like what I saw from the Titans defense. I think they're going to give it their all in this one. I think they're going to at least hang around, and I think the Rams take over in the second half. But I'm not sleeping on that defense. I will say the offense, they got to keep, and it's not going to be easy, Cam, but they got to keep Cam Ward upright. He was pressured over 50% of his dropbacks. That's the most in week 1. Not the way to welcome your quarterback to the league. That saying, we knew this was coming. We talked about it. Nick Bonito and company just gave him absolute fits. I thought overall on film, Cam Ward played a good game, all things considered. Throw the stat sheet away. I thought he made some good throws. He had a lot of drops. I think in this one, 23-13, I think the Rams in the second half find a way to just basically cruise, and they end up winning this one and moving on to 2-0 with a rematch ahead in Philadelphia.
Ooh, line it up, Jake. I got the Rams versus the Titans 23-16. Like you mentioned the second half cruising. I'm actually going to flip that. I think the first half is going to be where the Rams have to put the work in. They got to figure it out. Similar to the Texans game, that first half was a little bit slow. Matthew Stafford, I had some questions. Is he ready to go? Like, should he have skipped the preseason? I don't know. But then once that second half kicked in, you're seeing the no-look passes. You're seeing the highest-rated quarterback in the NFL and a Hall of Famer, essentially. I mean, at the end of the day, the guy can straight-out ball. It's the 17th season, so really impressive to see. I like the Rams winning this one. Chris Shula forcing 0 touchdowns for the Houston Texans, who have a guy like Nick Chubb and CJ Stroud back there. So that's daggone impressive. And you go to this Titans football team, you got Cam Ward, first pick in the draft. Like you mentioned, he played really well that game. Was it Calvin really had a couple of drops towards the end, kind of CD Lambish, right? Where you could go and make some
CD Lambish.
CD Lambish, go and make some points, but your guy, your main go-to player, Calvin really wasn't able to bring a few passes in. So that was a little unfortunate. But going back to this Titans defense, and I think similar to the Houston Texans defense that the Rams have to pay attention to, like your guy Jeffrey Simmons, like you mentioned, Jake, he had a sack and then a sack fumble on Bo Nix. So like you mentioned, he was pressuring him a lot, had him a little confused. Xavier Woods had an interception on Bo Nix as well on one of those plays. And so this Titans defense is nothing to play with. And then you go on the offensive side as well, on side with Cam Ward. But Tony Pollard, I mean, just not forget, he's that guy. Jake, he had 18 carries for 60 yards. And one of my notes was, to win this game, they must stop Tony. Like when Tony was at the Cowboys, he was a freaking problem behind Ezekiel Elliott, and he found a way into the starting role once Ezekiel left. But then now he's with the Titans. and he's still making plays. He has breakaway speed, and he's someone that the Rams can't sleep on. So I would keep an eye on them. And then Chamari Dike, one of the wide receivers from Florida, Jake, in the return game. Not only we're talking about offensive defense, but we got to think about some of the special teams. But he had a 71-yard return, Florida guy, and I think it was one of the longest returns in week 1. And so the Rams, they have a full plate when it comes to the Titans. And it's easy, Jake, like you mentioned, it's easy to look towards the Eagles and be like, all right, we got a rematch, Lincoln. Let's get ready to go. But no. Let's focus on who's in front of you, and that's the Titans. So I think that's going to be the key to this game is getting ready to travel out there to Tennessee. It's going to be hot as hell, Jake. It's going to be hot, my guys. It'll be like 95. So they're going to have to get ready. Yeah, they're going to have to get ready to play some good football and come back home with the win.
Yeah, no, I think this is one of those games where, Stafford, you're not worried as much about the different things that they're going to throw at you, but Bo Nix, yeah, he's going to look lost in year 2. Yeah. He just is. So I think there's that. You mentioned the return guys. Well, Jordan Whittington had a 74-yard return called back. So this guy can play.
Yeah. He did. Jake, so really quick, Jordan Whittington, is he not one of the better players on the Rams? Like, I know, okay, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, but Jake, just given his dynamic ability, like, he has to get the football, I think.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. I love Whittington. I absolutely love him. I think his best days are ahead of him. We'll just say that. Right in front of him. We'll see if it's against the Titans. I think this would be a good matchup. I mean, you have a short and intermediate style game plan, I think, ahead, and then your defense is going to basically just go up against, banged up. Both teams have banged up offensive lines to an extent. J.C. Latham, will he play? Won't he play? I'll tell you right now, they need him to play, okay? Because Oli Udoh is not good at right tackle. And then the Rams, they're dealing with Kevin Dotson and Steve Avila. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see who plays. But I'm going to lock in the Rams, as are you, 23-13. You said 23-16. And we move on to a Super Bowl rematch in week 2. The Philadelphia Eagles are heading to Kansas City to play the 0-1 Chiefs. How about that? 0-1. Wow. They did not like Brazil very much. Brazil. So I'm going to actually take the Eagles here. I think the Eagles are the better team. I have Kansas City making the playoffs, Cam, but this is not the best Kansas City team. It's just not. And right now with Rashee Rice, who is currently suspended for the first 6 games of the year, I don't think they have much that I really like in that weapon in the wide receiver room. I think Travis Kelce is really starting to show his age. I do. And I think Mahomes, at some point or another, they've kind of gone about this whole, we have Patrick Mahomes, everything will be fine. We don't need wide receivers. We don't need to care. I think you do. And I would not be surprised if there's a certain somebody, as long as everything legal comes out okay, we'll wait on that. But I wouldn't be surprised if a certain somebody returned, and that's Tyreek Hill.
Yes, Tyreek Hill. Hopefully he's okay with the legal issues. I actually know his former partner Keita, so I'm praying that goes over well. Like you mentioned, Jake, Xavier Worthy is out. He got hurt in the first couple plays of the game, right? I think it was James Derwin pushed Travis Kelce into him, and I think he jacked up his shoulder, so that wasn't great. You did mention Travis Kelce kind of showing his age a little bit. I was watching the game, and my wife was like, I haven't really heard Travis's name like that. And little do you know, it's like the third quarter, wide open for a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes finds him, and so he scores, walks to the end zone. And so Travis Kelce, I think he will always have it, but of course there's a few distractions, right? He has a new hype podcast. Not say distractions, a few additions. He has a new hype podcast, marrying one of the most popular artists in the world and ever. So he has a lot on his plate. But I do think, Jake, he'll have time to lock in. Like I said, it's only week 1. I think he has some time left on the clock still. And I mean, hey, if Gronkowski, Jake, can go from the Patriots and go to the Rams and run like a damn robot, to the Buccaneers, run like a damn robot and win a Super Bowl, I think Travis Kelce can do the same thing and extend his career a little bit. But like you mentioned, I got the Eagles on this one. I think they're looking too dynamic. Jalen Hurts, just in general. Let's just talk about how Jalen Hurts, how dynamic he is with his legs. He can run the football, my guy. I mean, he's really dynamic. I think he's more dangerous running the football than he is throwing. I'm just saying. I mean, seeing him, I know you got the Lamar Jackson, you got your Josh Allens, but I would put Jalen Hurts right behind those guys and being efficient running the football. Of course, you got Saquon Barkley, who was rated number 1 player in the NFL recently. He had 18 carries for only 60 yards, but he had a crazy stiff arm, Jake, the other week, and it was great to see. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be on the other end of what he has to provide there. But I want to call out somebody for this Chiefs defense that I think is going to really show up. Drew Tranquil. He played against the Chargers last week, and he had about 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. And I think he's going to keep that momentum going. I think he has to, because you got a guy on the other side of the line of scrimmage on the defensive side, and Zach Bond for the Eagles, who is one of the best linebackers in the league. So I think Drew Tranquil and that linebacking unit need to be able to step up and stop that running game for the Eagles. But I got the Eagles winning this game, Jake, and I think it's going to be a tight one. But I got the Eagles winning this one 24-21. I think Hollywood Brown, Jake, is going to have another big game. So that's the one I'm going to call out. He might be the X factor. He might be the end-all, be-all for this Chiefs team, but he had 10 receptions for 99 yards last week. He had to step up a little bit more. And also, too, I want to call this out, Jake. The Chiefs did win, but I'm just trying to think about how many of the deep ball that he missed because of Xavier Worthy wasn't there. I mean, you can see some of the passes that Patrick Mahomes had. He overled his receivers because of the speed difference between Xavier Worthy and whoever had to fill his shoes. And so it's going to be a tight one, but I think the Eagles come away with this one.
Yeah, and I think you got to look at Joshua Uche. This is somebody that I've been highlighting for a while. As you know, I've liked him since his days at Michigan. Didn't really get his career off the ground with the Patriots. He showed you when he played, he was legit. For whatever reason, the Patriots coaching staff never really allowed him to fully explore that. Then he goes to Kansas City, doesn't even get a chance to play. Absolutely love the fit. He is so good on Philly. It makes so much sense for what they do. He had a 54.5% win rate in true pass set pressures. In just full on, and this is 19 pass rushing reps. He had a 43.8% win rate. He is one of the better pass rushers that nobody talks about or knows about. And I think he is going to make his presence known. And I also think not only he is going to step up, but I think Zach Bond is going to step up. And I think Nolan Smith on the other side of Uche is going to step up and have a game against the Chiefs.
Wait, Jake, didn't they just sign Zadarius Smith as well from the Lions? The Eagles did? I mean,
I don't know what they're doing at this point, but yeah. They want this crazy rotation. I mean, they got Patrick Johnson. They got Jalex Hunt. They just want a crazy rotation. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and I think at the end of the day, that cannot be overlooked. Howie Roseman, we talked about it before, Jake. Howie Roseman's his ability to change personnel, it has to be studied. It has to be studied. Because if they go to the chip again this year, it's like, because he made this move, and now they're positioning themselves. And so that's something that's really cool to see. Howie Roseman, you get the game ball for week 1 because you're making things make sense for your football team. And of course, their pass rush, Jalen Carter is out now. And so you got to find someone else to come in and help with that. And so Howie Roseman doing a good job of pivoting and bringing in actually big names to fill the shoes of a guy like Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. I do believe Jalen Carter, he should be back. I don't think he got suspended. I think it was just he got fined a lot of money.
57,000.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
That's a lot for hawking a loogie on somebody. But hey, I get it.
But at this point, Jake, how many more chances will he have though? Right? He had issues in college. On draft day or around the draft, he has some issues there. And then now, so I do have a feeling at some point his time is going to run out. And so maybe they're trying to figure out, hey, what does that replacement look like for an all-pro?
You'd be surprised what my thoughts are on him. I would trade him. I would literally trade him right now because he's not worth the headache. As great as he is, he's not worth the headache. And there is a team out there that would give me top dollar for him They'd give me a lot of draft capital. And yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't even bother with this because you can't have that. You just can't have it. So,
distraction.
Yeah. We move Seattle taking on the Steelers. DK Metcalf isn't going to Seattle, but Seattle's coming to DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
I got the Steelers 24-16, and we'll get into the top projected performers, but I think you know where I'm going with that one. Aaron Rodgers, I love Aaron Rodgers, but he's petty as hell. DK Metcalf is the pettiest dude alive, okay? Yeah. I mean, you remember the Rams wild card game against the Seahawks? He goes up and he's yelling at Russell Wilson to get him the football. So they throw that screen, the bubble screen, and Darius Williams reads it like a book and takes it back the other way. DK's loud about his intentions. He's going to want the ball in this one. I think he's going to get it. But I think the Steelers right now are just a better team than Seattle. I think Seattle, when it's all said and done at the end of the year, is going to be interesting. I think they are still a playoff potential team. But that said, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one, 24-16. I was really encouraged by what I saw from Aaron Rodgers. And look out for Calvin Austin III, who they're very excited about, and I am too.
Yeah, Calvin Austin went off last week. I got Steelers 21 on this one. I got Seattle 20. Like you mentioned, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, he's going to ball out. I think that's important to see. But he has to get protected, Jake. When I was watching the film the other day, it was a little cringy to see him go down. I think he got sacked about 5 times, and Mike Tomlin went on air and he was like, hey, this is great and all getting this W, but we let up a lot of points. Number one, I think we let up 30 points against Justin Fields and the Jets offense, who, give them credit. They're doing their thing. Him and Garrett Wilson, they look like their old days back at Ohio State, but they let up a lot of points and their primetime quarterback got hit a lot. And so that's something that you don't want to see if you're a head coach in a franchise. And let's go back and rewind. Last year, Jake, his calf got hit and he was out after the first game of the season and came back a little bit later. So, at this point, got to figure out how to protect Father Time, and that is Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the best throwers of the football that we've seen. But I do like the Steelers in this one. I would like their defense to pick up a little bit, Jake. I have their defense on my fantasy football team, my guy. You're giving up 30 points. It's not looking great. And so the Steelers are known, for my time playing, they're known for a strong defense. Jalen Ramsey's there. And so you need to have some guys that can muscle up and make things happen. And it was a great hit that he had on Garrett Wilson. I mean, dislodging the man from the football after they were beefing the whole day. That was really cool to see. And so the Steelers, I have them this one. Jaylen Warren finding the end zone. I thought that was really cool of him to finally get the starting position, have 11 carries for 37 yards, and then finding the end zone. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, Jake, I just wanted to ask you, when it comes to the Steelers team, how do you think Jalen Ramsey is going to fit in there? Do you think it's going to continue? Do you think things are going to drop off a little bit? What are your thoughts there? How do you like that trade with him and Mika Fitzpatrick? I
really like it. I don't like it at all for the Dolphins because Dolphins look terrible. Anyway, no, I like Ramsey's fit. This is a team that's ready to win the Super Bowl. You don't have Aaron Rodgers and sit there and say, yeah, we can't wait for a wild card appearance. No, that's what the Steelers do. They get to the playoffs, they're one and done, right? They're a one-hit wonder. So in order for them to get back to the promised land, well, you got to put together a roster with these type of veterans. And I think they have that. And I would not be surprised if they made a move for another weapon. And I do believe a guy that we just talked about in Jacoby Myers should be who they go after. I think he'd be a perfect fit. Guy can block. He can run routes. He's a great separator, but also he's got natural hands. He can go up and high point the football. He's got a good body composition. He'd be great for Aaron Rodgers. He'd be great as a complement to DK Metcalf, and then you could have Calvin Austin in the slot. I just think, to me, that is what I would do. You got Roman Wilson after that, and then you got Ben Skoranek, who they threw a touchdown pass to.
I was about to ask you that.
There you go. That's a good-looking wide receiver room. But I do think that they should make that trade. We already know that Khan is willing to go out there and do that because he traded for Jalen Ramsey. So I'm kind of excited from what I'm seeing with the Steelers. Now let's go see them make it 2-0. But that said, Seattle needs this win. They need it to keep pace in the NFC West. You don't want, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you're looking up and you're like, oh, the 49ers are playing the Saints. That could be 2-0. The Rams are playing the Titans. That could be 2-0. And the Cardinals are playing the Panthers, which could be 2-0. And we could be looking at 0-2 right in the face in a game that, honestly, they should have won against the 49ers. They blew that game. That's something. But we both have the Steelers.
So woke up the Steelers and Chris Boswell, that 60-yard kick, similar to
the Wizard of Boz.
The Wizard of Boz, similar to like the Matt Prater kick. You know what I mean? It's like to win the game, and that's what we need to see, Jake. I've been seeing a common theme, to be honest, throughout the NFL are these missed kicks and these fumbles. I mean, the Derrick Henry fumble was brutal to see. I mean, that really hurt. And then I think even going back to the other game, the Titans, Tony Pollard, I feel like he fumbled towards the end of that game, and that knocked them out of winning that one. And so just the kicks and the fumbles and the flags, if teams can focus on that, I think they'll be a lot better off. And then there was another player, Jake, that I wanted to call out for this team outside of Chris Boswell, and they're escaping me. But Breece Hall for the Jets ran all over the Steelers. And so you think about, all over. My guy had 19 carries for 107 yards. I mean, that's insane. And so I think he's like the top three in rush yards in the NFL right now. And so I think a guy like Kenneth Walker III, he only had 10 carries for 20 yards. And so he'll need to pick that up, and he'll have an opportunity to against that Steelers defense.
Yeah. And we move on. Broncos, Colts. Broncos, they are my AFC number 2 seed coming into the year. The Colts were an interesting team. I was very high on Daniel Jones. I didn't think the Colts would make the playoffs or anything, but I felt like they'd be competitive with Jones. I think he fits Shane Steichen's offense. And lo and behold, I might be right on this one, but I'm not going to stand by it because I think the Broncos are going to win this game. I just do. I think the Broncos had a rough time. It was week 1. You know, things can get squirrely in week 1. 6 turnovers is not conducive to winning football, but they found a way to win. That defense is crazy good, and we've seen a lot better from Bo Nix. And keep this in mind, RJ Harvey just got his first, action. He had 70 yards. He had a huge explosive run. I think the Colts are good. I think they're competitive, but I just think the Broncos are better. And I think playing in the environment at Lucas Oil is going to be a lot better for Bo Nix. So I think it works really well with Sean Payton's offense. I'm going to take the Broncos here 24-17. But man, if Daniel Jones comes out, balls out against the Broncos defense, I'm putting us on Daniel Jones watch. This guy's for real.
Yeah, Daniel Jones watch, MVP watch. And I agree with you, Jake. I do like the Broncos winning this one, 23-20 against the Colts. The Colts' most recent game against the Dolphins, I'm not going to say was a fluke, Jake, but Tua looked insane that game. I mean, I think he had about 4 turnovers. I mean, it was atrocious. He had 2 turnovers in 3 plays. He was getting smoked and not seeing some of the blitzes that were coming off the edge. To be fair, the Colts did a great job of disguising some of those corner safety blitzes. The safety was acting like he was covering the tight end, and then had the defensive end cover him and then snuck up and hit him. But the Dolphins' offensive line, they were struggling. One of the defensive ends, Jake, intercepted Tua Tagovailoa. And so, it just didn't really look great. Xavier Howard had some success against him, so that didn't look great. And Bo Nix, a similar day with similar amount of turnovers, but I do think in this environment he will be able to step up and make things happen. J.K. Dobbins for Denver had 16 carries for 63 yards on 1 touchdown, so it's a decent day. Jacob, a running back, has about 50 plus yards a game. They've had a decent day, but you got to look on the other side of the football. Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries, 71 yards. And so he's one of the leaders in the running back room. So I think it's going to be an evenly matched game. That's why I mentioned 23-20. But this Broncos defense, like you mentioned, the guy Nick coming through, forcing havoc on the edge. Daniel Jones finding his way, but I do think that this Denver Broncos defense is going to get to him. I want to talk about Hufanga. I mean, Jake, he was balling out the most recent week, and I think he's going to do the same thing. Dre Greenlaw, just some of those defensive guys that they have. Patrick Surtain, I mean, come on, fam. Like, they're just loaded. So I think the Broncos are going to come out with a victory against the Colts, and they'll be 2-0.
Yeah, no, I think, end of the day, this Broncos team is just going to get better with time. And that defense is already like end of the year level good, right? So, but like I said, if Daniel Jones finds a way, then we're having a different conversation. I still think he could have an interesting game. Not afraid to use his legs. I think Steichen has the right game plan for him, but I'm going to take the Broncos again. Bears, Lions. I don't know what to make of this game. I got so excited for the Bears, and then they pissed away a 17-6 lead. And the Lions, I was pretty high on coming into the season, although I felt like they would take a step back losing Ben Johnson. This is Ben Johnson, of course, returning back to Ford Field.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the Lions here, 24-23. That offensive line did no favors for Caleb Williams. Now, I understand it's the Vikings. But the Lions have pass rushers too. Like, you're telling me Aiden Hutchinson, you're not worried about him? I am. So
right.
I think Caleb is going to do everything he can. I saw some crazy stat where he's only thrown one interception his last 12 games, and he's 1-11 in those games. So it hasn't really been his fault, he's missed some throws. He missed that throw to DJ Moore. Easy for us to say, right? That's not an easy throw to hit when you have four guys coming after you. But no, I think this is what it comes down to. The Lions are always really good at home. They don't travel on the road as well. Jared Goff has always played well, at Ford Field. So I think 24-23 is fair. I think they're going to pound the rock early on. The Vikings showed you can run against this Bears defense. Also, is Kyler Gordon going to play? Is Jalen Johnson going to play? Nashawn Wright, who had the interception, he ends up suffering an injury. Is he out for the year? It looked like that way. So they're banged up. And TJ Edwards didn't play either. I'm going to be safe here. I'm going to go with the team that I know, like, I feel better about, and that's the Lions. But who knows with these divisional games, man? And also, who knows? It's week 2. But I'm going to go with the Lions 24-23.
I like that, Jake. I'm going to go a little bit a wider gap for the Lions winning this game. I'm going to go Lions 31. Bears 23. The reason being, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. I mean, they're going to be back home, like you mentioned, and I think they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. They did a decent job, but like you mentioned, they were playing the Packers, and so that was a different ball game. But I think this one, go against the Chicago Bears, the defensive line is decent, but I think they'll have more leeway to make big plays. I think one thing that I'll mention, Caleb Williams, he's going to run with his legs. So I think for the Lions defense, got to be able to contain him. He makes great plays when he's off schedule. When he's off schedule, he can run and move, flip the football, and make things happen. But this past game, Jake, he went 10 for 10. And then once he missed that pass to DJ Moore, the man dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, it was just tough to watch Caleb Williams after that. So he gets hot for a moment, but I don't know if he can continue that focus. I don't know if it's the, wearing the gray shirt under the jersey, like what is going to be this week.
Did not like that look.
And not to be like a stickler like this, but I was like, it's not team colors. And of course, like, you wear cleats that are different colors and stuff like that, but it just didn't even look clean. And so I know he got the fingernails painted. I know he had the suicide hotline on his fingernails, which is cool. Like, do your thing, send your message, but like, win football games, my guy. You know what I mean? And so the Bears are going to have to figure it out. I will say our guy, DeAndre Swift, my man, was running that football like no other, doing a good job of moving the ball on the ground. I thought that was really cool. I'm going to go back to the Lions side. Isaac Tesla's number 18 hit a crazy one-handed touchdown towards the end of the game. So that's another weapon that Jared Goff has to use as well. But yeah, just going back to the Bears, man, DeAndre Swift, he was finding some great seams. He ran for about 53 yards. And I would say that their Bears defensive line was a star of the show against Minnesota. So hopefully they show up again this week against the Lions, because they'll need it.
Yeah. We move on to Bills Jets here. I don't even know what to make of the Jets, man. I'm not used to them scoring a lot of points. So pardon me here, but yeah. I'm going to take the Bills 34-27. Bills defense, I know they have some suspensions, they have injuries, whatever. I don't love the Bills defense right now. Later on in the year, I think they'll be really good. But it's Josh Allen versus Justin Fields. I think Fields is going to be able to play a really good game, just like he did against the Steelers. But I'm not going against Josh Allen, who I believe is the league MVP. He's the best player in football. Yeah, give me the Bills 34-27, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, the Bills, I mean, man, after they beat the Ravens the way they did, after seeing Lamar Jackson run the football, throw the football to D-Hop with the one-hand catch for a touchdown, Derrick Henry stiff-arming people out of their minds, running past DBs like it's no other, and still come back and win, bro. Like, come on, fam. So this game, I got the Bills 34, and I got the Jets 27. And just like you mentioned, they scored a lot of points against the Steelers, and the Steelers
same score, bro.
Same score. My bad. Well, hey,
no, I think that's cool. We like that.
Yeah, we'll rock out with 34-27. But yeah, no, I think the Jets have turned a new page, which is exciting to see. Like I mentioned, Breece Hall, he had 19 carries for 107 yards. So I think similar to Derrick Henry, he's going to be able to make something happen with his legs. Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields, that combination, Jake, is a little magical. You know what I mean? It's like, give me like a little Shaq and Kobe vibes. I mean, like when they like to play with each other, when they started beefing, you know, that wasn't great, but they're just giving a dynamic duo. And I really like to see that for the Jets. It's refreshing. But you have that. But then on the other side, Jake, on the Bills side, you got James Cook making it happen, 13 carries for 80 yards and 1 touchdown. And so he's been pretty dynamic. And then I think the one that's going to take this game away, which they did last game as well, but Keon Coleman. I mean, he had 8 receptions for 112 yards. He came through on some 2-point conversions. He came through on touchdowns. He came through on first down conversions. Keon Coleman is a gamer, and I think he's going to show up again this game. And yeah, man, it's just going to be really cool to see the Bills take this thing away, and they might be the best team in football. My guy, they're continuing to crush it. So I got the Bills leading this one.
They look really good, man. I want to give a big shout out to Armand Membo. He looked absolutely insane in his rookie game. He didn't even allow a pressure. 26 snaps, protecting, and Aaron Rodgers didn't have to worry about the right spot, the right side. Olu Fashanu, who I really like, he gave up 6 pressures. I think in this one, you look at Greg Russo and you look at Ed Oliver, and I think those guys are going to be closers to kind of end the game. But this Jets team looks like, I said Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, protecting Justin Fields. This Jets team looks to me like a team that might score a lot. Their defense might figure it out. Who knows? I mean, it's week 1, so we have no idea what's happening there. But we move to the next game. Got some breaking news here. Ready? Yeah. 49ers Saints. It appears that according to Ian Rappaport, the other really good reporter, Mac Jones will be getting the start for the 49ers. Brock Purdy is viewed as a long shot to play. Now, I have to change everything because I had the 49ers winning this game.
Yeah.
And after the way the Saints played, I'm actually going to say the Saints win this. I really like the way they played against Arizona. Do I think Robert Saleh is going to come in here and have a completely different game plan and really give fits when it comes to Spencer Rattler, who I kind of threw under the bus? I liked him, but I didn't think he was starter material. Yeah, he's going to make it hard. But I think the Saints are going to do enough to beat Mac Jones and the 49ers. I'm going to go 17-16. I think this thing is going to be so close.
Yeah, I like that, Jake. I agree with you with that Brock Purdy news. That just it flips the whole script on things for this. And Spencer Rattler being in the game, he has Chris Olave to throw the football too. So I don't want to take that out of the question. Juwan Johnson, who's been really impressive, who's been jumping up on people's fantasy boards. For this game, I'll get the Saints 27, and I'll go the 49ers 20. Mac Jones, he has some experience playing with the Patriots, but with George Kittle out, for 4 weeks with the hamstring. Brock Purdy out for who knows how long. This team is definitely taking a different twist of things. But Ricky Pearsall, he's been a bright spot for that 49ers team. We had 4 catches for 108 yards. I mean, I had in my notes a home run receiver, and then daggone Christian McCaffrey, he had 9 catches for 73 yards and then 22 carries for 69 yards. So I'm like, is he still the best player in the NFL? Like, I mean, I know you got your Saquon Barkley, you got your Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but like, this guy's still going crazy, bro. And like, it's good to see him back healthy, back moving things along. I know he had the little calf issue, but hopefully he can stay healthy and still move the 49ers along. But I do like the Saints winning this football game. I think the Saints defensive line is going to be the key factor in this one. I think Cam Jordan had a great game against the Cardinals. He had 1.5 sacks. Him and Granderson had 1.5 sacks. And then Chris Olave, I mean, I feel like he's been the go-to guy. And then Juwan Johnson, 8 receptions, 76 yards. So I think the Saints are going to be able to put it together this one. And then Alvin Kamara, he was up in the rushing and the leader stats there. And so I like him to score about 2 touchdowns this game, Jake. I know the 49ers gave up a lot of the defensive guys. So I want Alvin Kamara to make it happen. And I have him on my fantasy team. So I need that 4 touchdown game, my guy.
Hey, I don't know if you're going to get that against this Niners defense that looks a lot better stopping the run, but I guess you never know. The last 4 games, I would even say the last 5 games, the one we just talked about, are considered the bottom 5 of the slate here. The Patriots-Dolphins. Who do you got in that one? I took the Patriots 34-17. I do not like the Dolphins at all.
Oh, Dolphins look atrocious. I got the Patriots in this one with Drake May. 27 to the Dolphins 10. It's not looking good for the Dolphins, Mike.
We have the same type of mindset there. I really was disappointed in Drake May. That throw really kind of changed the complexion of that game against the Raiders, but he gets a chance to bounce back because, hey, guess what? Get ready. There's 16 other games, my guy. So, yeah. But the Patriots, man, Harold Landry looked insane. 3 sacks, 9 pressures. Yeah.
He's a rebel guy. He's a rebel guy from the Titans, so that's a nice little.
Oh yeah, we like that. That's a cool little connection there, and nice on you for spotting that. Browns Ravens. I'm gonna take the Ravens 41-14.
I got the Ravens on this one, 38 to the Browns 17, and I think Myles Garrett is going to have a hell of a day. I feel like my guy against Joe Burrow had about 4 sacks, but I think it was only 2. I gave him 2 with 2 TFLs, but I think he's going to give Lamar Jackson that offensive line some fits. But I definitely like the Baltimore Ravens running through the Browns.
Yeah, I have the Ravens scoring 41 this time. I bet they wish they did it last week, but no, this Ravens team is going to be pissed off to all hell. And you can absolutely rush the passer on the Browns, at least on their tackles. And we'll get into it in a sec here, but I'm looking forward to a certain player that I think is going to blow that game up. Giants, Cowboys. Cam, I'm taking the Cowboys 24-13. Until they bench Russell Wilson, I can't get into the Giants, man. The defense looks good. Russell Wilson, I don't know what was worse. 17 of 37 is awful performance. Whatever the hell that speech was at the end, where it's like, yeah, we played our butts off. We did really well. No, you didn't. You didn't do well at all. Like, take accountability.
Yeah, you're lying. Yeah. And there might be some other things going on. I know Malik Neighbors was like upset on the sideline, and they talked about mindset and mental toughness. So, that'll be that. But I definitely have the Cowboys running this thing up 27 to the Giants 14. I think Malik Neighbors has to go off. I mean, he had 5 receptions for 71 yards. So that was pretty decent. But they're going to have to amp that one up. Cam Scatterboo. Hopefully he gets the ball a little bit. Hopefully he gets the ball a little bit more. He can get that angry runs scepter again. But the Giants going to have to figure it out. The Jets have figured it out, Jake, but the Giants are going to have to make it happen. But I do like the Cowboys. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have to redeem himself. I think Dak Prescott played a pretty decent game, but he just didn't have any freaking touchdown. So, yeah, Cowboys will have to wrap this one up just a little bit. And Javonte Williams, of course, 15 carries for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was the reason why they were in the game. But other than that, the offense is going to have to pick it up for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and Cardinals are hosting the Panthers. Man, the Cardinals are getting the draw of the lucky here with the Saints and the Panthers. I think it's going to be another close game. I think Arizona is okay dealing with these close games. I think they're fine operating in that. Kyler Murray has to be better at not taking sacks. The offensive line looked really good. I thought Paris Johnson looked outstanding against the Saints. But the Panthers, I think people are going to be out on them. Anytime there's variables such as a weather delay and you're on the road, I think that has to be accounted for. So, look, Bryce Young was not good, but Bryce Young also didn't have Ikem Ekwonu, who was dealing with an appendectomy. He was out, right? So you had a different, left tackle in Josh Neiman, who was horrendous, who was brutal, and he's going to get Bryce Young killed if he plays on Sunday. But I'll tell you right now, I think the Cardinals are the better team. I think they are going to win this game. And I think, it'll come down to the wire because I think the Panthers have a better defense than advertised, but I'm still going to go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals on this one too, Jay. Cardinals 28, Panthers 17. And one of my standout players for this week, Trey McBride. As one of his teammates called him, Trayvon McBride, once he steps into the football field. He's the go-to for Kyler Murray. He had an amazing drive before the second half, and I think he's going to be one of those sleeper tight ends. I know Brock Bowers, I would have had him as my guy, but he's hurt. But Trey McBride is going to be one of my offensive players for this week. He's been going crazy, and I think he will too this game. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a great explosive catch and then a touchdown in that most recent game. Carolina Panthers, Jake, and the Miami Dolphins, those two offensive lines and the Giants, I throw them 3 in there. They were tough to watch, bro. Like, I was like, can I just turn the screen off because it's not looking good? But T. McMillan, wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, had 5 receptions for 68 yards. So thankfully, he got a chance to see the football. And then Chuba Hubbard, 16 carries for 57 yards and 3 receptions. So they're going to have to figure out a way to get different people the football for that Carolina offense. But it's not looking pretty. And then I'll just say for Arizona Cardinals, James and Connor, he's the Ram killer, as we always know. Just look out for him for running that football really hard. But I got the Cardinals winning this one.
Yeah, we got our top projected performers. So real quick, Cam, I'm going to give you mine rapid fire, and you give me yours. I'm going to go with Drake May versus the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins. There you go. We saw what Daniel Jones did. Drake May's pissed off from last week. I think we see a pissed off Drake May and a lot of success from him. Running back is going to be Trey Benson against the Panthers defense that allowed over 140 yards to Travis Etienne. I think Trey Benson, while James Conner is the starter, I think he's going to have a big day. Wide receiver DK Metcalf, shocker. I think he's going to have a huge day against the Seattle Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers is petty. DK Metcalf is petty. They're going to be like, get me the ball, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, of course, let's do it. He already hates Seattle. Makes sense. And then last but not least, the defensive player I'm going to go with is Nnamdi Madubuike. I think he is going to wreck the entire game. Joe Flacco has no mobility anymore, obviously. Nnamdi Madubuike is going to wreck this game. He's really good against the Bills. He's already one of the best interior defensive linemen. He's going to give them some big-time fits. So I think he's going to stand out, and those are my projected top performers of the week.
Top performers, I like that. I mentioned, who did I mention for mine? Trey McBride. I like him for my top performer for the Cardinals. I think he's going to do his thing against the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go another tight end. I'm going to go Juwan Johnson for the Saints. He has shown a lot of gumption, I would say, for that Saints offense. So it's been really good to see him play some good ball. And then I want to go a defensive player for my next pick. And for my next pick, the defensive player, I'm going to go Levante David for the Buccaneers. He was a little quiet the most recent game, so I'm going to go with a homeboy in Levante David, someone I played behind. I think it's his time to step out and show, hey, I'm still that guy. I'm still that guy. I can still get tackles. I can still get force bad plays from the defenses. from offenses. And then Jeffrey Simmons is my other defensive guy as well. He went off this most recent game. I think he had like a strip sack that I mentioned, and I think he'll do his thing this week. And then on the special team side, Jordan Whittington, Jake, he had a couple call back last week. So I think this game he's going to get his due against the Titans.
I hope so. I think all those are great. We'll see what ends up happening, but that is going to do it. The Week 2 2025 episode is in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hype the video. I don't know. YouTube told us to say that. I don't know what hype means, but do it. And we'll see you guys next week for Week 3.
All right. Peace.